Scooter. Joe, check this out. There's anywhere but here, man, on this here podcast.
Oh, I like me some podcasts, man.
What y'all talking about?
We're talking about anywhere but here.
What's anywhere but here? Anywhere but here in Mississippi?
No, man, anywhere but here over in England.
Hey, we ain't in England.
I know, but that's where the England's from.
What?
Hey, Cletus, remember when we went and saw that movie about the wars in the stars and they had like lightsabers and stuff like that? Well, these people here talk about things we like.
Really?
I guarantee.
Well, hot diggity damn. What we waiting for?
Anywhere but here podcast.
Hello and welcome to Anywhere But Here this week, episode 37. We are on the second part of a two-part crossover show with our good friends over at Nerd Church from the US of A.
They're responsible for the two greatest podcast intros there is, I think.
The genii behind that jingle that you just heard there, and also their own intro music, which is quite possibly the most brilliant thing I've ever heard.
Not underselling them.
No, not at all. They're in the background. We've got, all the websites and stuff. You can go to any of our previous
episodes
to hear that. If you've listened to the first episode, which you should, by the way, you should not be listening to this first because you will get none of it. We're going to be continuing we're going to get the answer from a question that we posed at the last part of the Nerd Church episode, so we're going to do that pretty much straight away. But before we do that, I suppose we'd better introduce them properly.
Yes.
So this is the Nerd Church. The guys from Nerd Church. Hello.
Hey, what's going on,
man,
there
I'll tell you what, man, that's good.
Tell you what, that's the best intro I done ever hear, man. That's just good.
And as you can
right
hear,
there.
they're not
Hi.
characters. That's how they speak.
I'm Stan, and I don't know these people.
Man, I tell you, you just telling some lies right there. That's fibbing. That's
I'll tell you,
fibbing.
listening to that intro that we cut off the cuff for you guys, and doing it live as it's opening your show. That was the most fun I've had listening to that thing. Ira just about fell out of his chair over there.
That was absolutely hilarious. I mean, it's funnier listening to it over the air than it was doing it.
Because that was an improv, wasn't it? Or something?
Yeah, it was an improv, and the other thing is it was intended only to be a bumper for your show, so you could just say, hey, welcome back to Anywhere But Here. This is who we are, kind of thing. It's not supposed to be the show intro, and to have it as the show intro makes us laugh even more.
No, I think it was just that great. We loved it that much, and it was like 30 seconds long, which is how much we introed with originally anyway.
Exactly.
So we thought we'd just chuck it on the front of every episode.
All the songs that we used to use for the front of the episode were only ever 30 seconds long, because that's how long we used to take to kind of put all the titles up at the beginning of the YouTube.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Which, to be fair, we're not recording this for YouTube this week. So
we apologise to our
viewers,
YouTube subscribers that can't hear this.
No.
Oh no.
So.
Well, don't apologize. That means they can't see your ugly mugs either. So you're doing the world service.
That's not right.
Well, this is it
right.
because we couldn't do the video Skype, so we thought we won't put any video up at all.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you very much. We thank you, and we're happy that you like that intro. And like I've promised before, we're gonna make you a real one. We just gotta figure out how we're gonna go about it.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this.
Thank you very much for having us on. This is awesome. I'm so excited for part 2.
Yes, I'm
It's
very
been a
honored,
long
by the
time
way.
coming, but
It has, yeah. We kind of mentioned this in like June or July or something ridiculous like that. But here we are, finally. And this is the second part. Like I said, if you're listening to this now and you haven't listened to the first part, which is over on Nerd Church, and you can find them on iTunes, and are you guys on Stitcher and stuff as well?
I think we're on Pocket Cast for the non-iPhone users.
Yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Android
Okay.
Pocket Cast. I asked you guys about Stitcher.
Yes, you did, and I keep meaning to email back about that.
Oh, it's
the
no
Stitcher
worry.
thing, we never actually read through the terms.
Oh, really?
Oh.
No, we don't bother doing it. That's a problem I've run into with my YouTube gaming channel as well, because YouTube emailed me and said, have you got the right to do this? So I'm putting a pause on pinning that at the minute, and I'm going to just email the publishers of the games. But yeah, the Stitcher thing, I don't know what the limitations are. I think because we're in the UK, we have different rights concerning like music as well, which is why we're careful not to include any music, and we only do cover versions.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There's another one of the British shows, and since we're talking about possibly not quite so legal, there's another one of the British things. I'm not going to say their name right now, but I've heard them using actual songs, like the entirety of songs.
Yeah.
In between clips.
I
and
think
stuff.
I know which one you're talking about.
Frankly, it doesn't bother me at all, and I think it adds to the show. It's cool if they're saying, "Hey, look, this was the We're talking
That's
about
right.
a movie from 1991, and this was the number one movie in 1991 here in England, and they play, a chunk of it. I think it's entertaining. I don't think that's taking any money out of the artist's mouth, but
No, I don't think
that's
so
a different
either,
argument.
really.
It's ARA and copyright and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Because I think in America, don't you have fair usage law or something like that?
Well,
where
It's difficult. It's
very,
complicated.
there's a very, very gray area. Even the most learned lawyer can tell you that it'll be interpreted one way by one person and a completely different way by someone else, and the other way is the one that costs you millions of dollars. So
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I actually contacted PRS, which is a Performers' Rights Society, is
That's
it?
right, yeah.
Over in England, and they're the ones who hold the licenses for music over here. And I contacted them about it, and they said if it was just on YouTube and iTunes, then we'd be okay because they have their own licenses. But because we're hosting it on our own website, we're not allowed to do it.
yeah,
Unless we have a license which costs hundreds of pounds a year.
And
So-
we can't be bothered with that because we don't make hundreds of pounds a year. This
No.
is podcasting. No one makes any fucking money.
yeah, we're
from
not
it,
making
you know?
any money off of it at all. And that
Yeah.
was when we started it. We, the way we understood it, just in absolute layman's terms, was if you're not making any money off of it and you're not providing an alternate to those who do make money off of it, then you should be good. That's how most people understand the fair use. So if I'm going to play your song, but I'm going to talk over it, or I'm going to render the song not in a negative way, but I'm going to render the song so that I'm not taking money out of your pocket for you to sell it on iTunes, or I'm using it, in a way that helps you or whatever. We figured that was easy. That was how we would stay away from trouble. But our original theme song, I don't know if you ever heard it. One day I can send it to you. It contained one of our favorite instrumental songs,
Right.
and I had the sound clips and stuff embedded over it, and we loved it. We loved it to death. And then Michael and I decided one day that we're going to be right. We're going to be like, okay, hey, look, let's just make sure we have the rights to do this. So we contacted the people.
We were idiots.
Yeah, we were idiots. We contacted the people that own it and said, hey, that we're using this for a non-monetized podcast. We make no money. We don't do any advertising. This is, we're not doing anything whatsoever, and we modify it heavy enough where it's not like someone could take our podcast as the alternative, take the intro to our podcast as the alternative to paying for the album version.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they said,
can't
yeah,
just rip that.
They're like,
audio
yeah,
file.
exactly. So they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Tell us how many podcasts you plan on having it on, and we'll send you the bill for it. And we're like, oh shit.
Jeez.
So in a fit of rage, anger, and time, because we were dropping a new podcast the very next day, Michael and I consulted Stan, our music expert, as to what our options are to get music that we could use in the podcast and not worry about legal rights. And Stan found a website. Do you happen to have it off the top of your head?
I don't actually know the website offhand, but being in the profession that I am in advertising, we use a lot of royalty-free music. Basically, you have a lot of composers out there that will build these songs, and not only will they build these songs, they'll build them in chunks so you can actually rearrange them so that they can flow the way that you need them to.
Oh.
So Sean bought basically a collection of different pieces of this
we
music.
seem to have a bit of a problem with the Skype line, annoyingly. You've just gone all static.
It sounds fine on our end. Can you still hear us?
Oh no, there you
You're
are.
coming back. You're coming back.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
That was a bit strange.
That was a bit odd.
Well, good thing you're using our track here.
Yeah, we couldn't understand a word you were saying,
No.
though, so we got a bit lost there. Right.
But Stan was saying that he found this website of royalty-free music that where the composers will they'll make an entire song, and then they'll sell you the entire song and then chunks of it, so you can re-loop it, you can remix it, you can do whatever you want. And as soon as
Right,
you pay them,
$50.
yeah, it's like $50, $75, something like that. I'm sorry. See, we just did our quid thing there. I said bucks. You said dollars. I said bucks.
Yeah.
So you pay the composer for it, and you have it forever. Yeah, we now own the
that's
rights
really
to
good.
use
so
that.
you own that beginning
Well,
part of your...
they got a license to use
Yeah.
it as much as they want. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And that's how it works. And like I said, we wanted to talk to you guys about doing the same thing for yours, but we got to talk about all sorts of things to hide in there, sound bites and stuff that you might want. So anyway,
we'll
that's how it works
have
for us.
this conversation at some point. Yeah.
I don't see why we just don't, remix the spam song for them.
Because Eric Idle might have a problem with that.
You never know. He might come after you. You don't like spam.
No, how about you just do Isn't It Awfully Nice to Have a Penis? Just do that song right in the intro.
Just a whole load of Python sketches jammed together.
It works.
But yeah, so just before the break in the 2 episodes, we asked a question. And the question was...
Yeah, which would win in a drag race, a DeLorean or a TARDIS?
We debated this quite a bit.
Yeah, so initially when you asked us that question, we all gave each other a look like, well, that's a silly question. That's
All of
very
us but
easy.
Stan.
That's very easy to answer. It seemed
Sounds like
very
a
cut and
no-brainer,
dry.
right?
And it turned into a 20-minute discussion between us. Hold on, it wasn't even Stan disagreeing. The first 20 minutes was us being full-on nerds, and instead of giving just the straight answer A or B, it was we were qualifying it. Why would A win? Why would B lose? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
How much power is involved, et cetera, et cetera.
It was obscene. So, do you want to hear the collective answer?
Well, let's hear what you all thought, and then I'll put a spin on it and say exactly what the question is.
Okay, well, do you want to say the question now then, or?
Well, the question was literally which would win in a drag race, a DeLorean or a TARDIS, and we're talking non-time travel.
Non-time travel.
Okay, so that was it. It took us 20 minutes to discuss the time travel.
Yeah, because if people listening haven't watched Doc 2, the Christmas episode of was it season 2 with Catherine Tate in? Yep. You actually see the TARDIS flying, like not traveling through time. So that's why I came up with this question.
Okay, so all right, so in my opinion, a DeLorean goes 0 to 60 miles per hour.
Hold on, a factory
stock DeLorean goes 0 to 60 in 10.5 seconds.
Right,
now, if you're doing
you really did go proper nerd.
Which is slow as shit.
Yeah, if you're doing a quarter mile test, I think it's at like 16 or 17. If you're doing a standard drag race, which is a quarter mile, 16 to 17. Plus, you got to factor in the fact that God only knows if the road's well enough. The TARDIS is going to win. It's flying. It doesn't have to deal with the friction of the ground. Not to mention, it's fucking powered by a sun.
Well, so hold on. Before you get too into the nerd aspect of it,
too late.
I believe our simple answer was originally that the DeLorean would get its ass kicked. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But like
Don't answer for us, Sean.
Yeah, like the Supreme Court in the U.S., we have dissenting opinions.
Yes, the majority opinion. The majority opinion was the TARDIS would win.
I thought you were with us, Ira.
Yeah, but I have my own thing to say. Don't answer for me.
I'm going to answer for you. Turn off his mic. Turn off his mic. He's done.
Ira's getting angry.
I'm about to break something.
He's about to
see what you guys
motherfucker.
See what you guys did.
So Michael and I, and Miles is kind of neutral since he's not fully caught up, but Michael and I believe that the TARDIS being a spaceship, a proper spaceship, a proper ship that's not just time traveling, would kill it in a race. It's that simple, because it can accelerate to whatever speed it needs to, whatever, I guess, regardless of time travel. And my original argument, not knowing that you guys were qualifying it with no time travel allowed, was that the TARDIS can instantly, virtually instantly get into the time vortex and start time traveling, where the DeLorean needs to reach 88 miles per hour before the time circuits kick in.
Yeah, and this is the problem with top speed as well, obviously, because if the DeLorean reaches 88 miles an hour, it automatically travels through time, so it's disqualified.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, but Michael brought up, too, that if you actually take off the emergency brake on the TARDIS, it'll probably get in there a lot faster.
Indeed.
Exactly. And I don't know if you guys are Whovian enough to have known that, but there's a little tidbit in Doctor Who where the classic sound that the TARDIS makes when it's materializing and dematerializing.
Yeah.
It's pointed out that sound is because he leaves the parking brake on all the time.
Really?
Oh, I've not actually heard that.
I'm not anywhere near as Whovian as Ant.
Yeah,
and I'm not anywhere nearly as Whovian as most people.
Then I won't spoil it too much, but another person is driving the TARDIS and parks it silently, instantly. And he's like, wait a minute, where'd the sound go? And they say, well, I took the parking brake off.
Okay.
So the joke is the sound is him dragging the brakes through time and space.
That's pretty brilliant. Awesome.
So are we in... I
think the majority wins, but Ira said he had a different opinion, did he?
Yeah, I want to hear the breakdown.
Yes, my different opinion is one's a spaceship and one's a butt ugly car. You can't compare them. It's like comparing Godzilla and Bambi.
See, this is why we
can't even compare.
This is why we differ. So so quickly with Ira sometimes because he called the DeLorean butt ugly.
It is butt ugly.
It's so sexy.
And it's made of like
90%
titanium. And
It's stainless. It's stainless steel.
I think it's titanium and aluminium.
Aluminium.
Good pronunciation.
That rare
you.
British earth metal that only comes from the British Isles.
Aluminium.
Where you got to add those extra U's.
I also have another dissenting opinion.
Okay, now Stan has the legitimate dissent from this.
No,
right,
it's just
okay.
Stan's dissent. That's
Mine
the
was legitimate. One's a spaceship, one's a bug.
Well, yours wasn't a dissenting
You're in
opinion at all.
agreement.
You agree,
You
just for
agree
different,
with us.
different reasons.
Yeah, you're talking aesthetic reasons. Stan actually has a different. Let's see.
I have a reason. Now,
Right.
you see, the TARDIS is just a call box. Very simple shape. Very simple, boring silhouette. When you look at the DeLorean, it's got all the beauty of a woman. And for that reason, in a drag race, I think a DeLorean would look better in a dress.
Oh, brilliant.
Exactly.
That is brilliant.
And
Awesome.
to bring it back, Tom, real quick to our
Beauty
previous.
of a woman? Like, I'm so sure.
What, you don't think the lines of the DeLorean are sexy?
No, they're not.
He likes
Not at
women
all.
with
It's
straight lines.
one of the most butt ugly cars on the fucking
It's almost
planet.
as ugly as a Scion XB. Let's just be
It's
honest here. It is
ugly as
fucking
shit.
nasty.
And you like an Impreza?
Imprezas are fucking hot
Hold
looking,
on, hold
okay?
on. So, real quick, Tom, to bring it back to the previous podcast, we were talking about racing and enjoying stuff like that.
That's right.
It sounds like Stan is talking along the same lines of what I used to say in races back when I was doing a lot of street racing. You drive a car like I don't know, like a Mercedes, or not a Mercedes, like a BMW 330 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just out of the box, the thing is pretty quick, and it would get destroyed by someone who's got a little Honda Civic that's got a big badass,
with the skirts on it and the wings and
and it'll get spanked. And I always used to say, you know what? At the end of the race, you go home with the trophy, but I'm going home with the trophy girl because I'm driving the Beamer and you're driving the busted Civic.
Because I've
that's
got
right.
the
You've
horse
stuck a load
outside.
of plastic Airfix model parts.
And I think that's what Stan's saying. He's saying, regardless of the winner is the DeLorean because
DeLorean
it's
is the
sexy.
one that
I'm
looks
still
the best.
getting back in a DeLorean at the end of the
There's
day.
Exactly,
more
at the
leg
end of the
room in
day.
its TARDIS, though.
Yes, there are some hot women inside that's because, as Ira pointed out when we were talking about it, the inside of the DeLorean is butt ugly, but the inside of the TARDIS is sex.
It's got a fucking swimming pool. It's got a
Yeah, and it's
library.
bigger.
It's got all the shit you want in there.
And Dalek textured wallpaper.
Yeah.
And at
apparently.
one point,
Looks like a
nothing.
Dalek.
one point, it had Billy Piper.
Or Martha Jones.
Hold on, we gotta get-
Martha, yeah.
Did Ira ever used to watch Confessions of a Call Girl by any
Oh,
chance?
yes.
Actually, I didn't like that as much as when she was in Doctor Who because she lost so much weight. When she was curvier in Doctor Who, she looked a lot better. But I guess she wanted to do the naked scene thing, so she lost a ton
so
of
she
weight.
wants
and
to
she
get
just
as
looked
thin
bummy.
as possible.
But she never
Yeah, it
did
was ugly.
She never did a proper nude scene though, and that I felt ripped off. But
That's why
I'm not looking for a proper nude scene. I'm looking for an improper one.
speaking of Billie Piper, is it true that she started in England as one of the just a pop princess?
Oh yeah. She was just known as Billy for a while, and she did songs like "Honey to the Bee" and
I fucking forgot all
Is
about
that a
that.
Cockney thing?
The first song was Because I Want To.
"Because I Want to."
I'm almost embarrassed.
Why did I play that song so loud? Because I want to. Because I want to.
Nice.
I'm almost embarrassed to admit that I know exactly what you're talking about because I
you?
researched her, the Honey to the Bee song. Oh my god!
Next time you do that, say it slower, a little sexier, please.
Honey to the Bee. That's you.
There you go.
Okay, now
Oh my god! All my indie cred has just disappeared out of the door, knowing the lyrics.
congratulations,
to two
you've been
Billy songs.
sucked into our vortex.
Oh, rubbish. I've got some local news to discuss because on this show we do a bit of kind of current affairs, and we do some stuff. We try and find a kind of interesting spin on news and things. And this happened literally yesterday, and I thought that you guys might like to know what kind of goes on here.
Nothing's going on here because we're on a shutdown. So
Because it's literally
excited.
down the road from us.
Short term.
Basically, what happened on Thursday is that a grandfather went to pick up his granddaughter from her school. This is a primary school, I believe, which is from age 4 to 11.
Yeah, it's 4
So
to
is
11.
that like, I don't know what that converts
That's like
to.
elementary school.
Elementary
Yeah.
school here, yeah.
because she's got to go to the doctors. He's got to take her to the doctors. He picks her up. They go to the doctors. She's prescribed some liquid paracetamol for whatever's wrong with her. It
Wait,
transpires. Sorry?
What was that? What is that? Did you say liquid paracetamol? God,
like a painkiller, like a really rubbish painkiller.
Like a Nurofen.
Yeah,
It's like buffering
Nurofen.
never heard of that.
Yeah.
No. Paracetamol is like your general pill that people take over here for like colds and anything
headaches.
that's wrong with them, headaches.
It's Robitussin.
It's
It's tussin.
Or tussin.
Put some tussin on it.
We don't have that here.
See, we don't know what that means.
That's a Chris Rock bit.
Essentially, what happened is that when he got the girl back to... Well, the girl goes home to her parents' house, says, oh, this is for my illness. And the mother's like, why have you been to the doctor and why is that not your name on the bottle? And what's happened is that the grandfather has gone into the school. The school has taken the wrong little girl out of class. He hasn't noticed that it's not his granddaughter. Has taken her to the doctors. They've prescribed her something for an illness she obviously doesn't have. And the school have no idea how this has happened.
Have you ever seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
It is a little bit. It is like you can't actually make this shit up.
But you're an asshole.
But like the investigation into this is going to involve local government. It's going to involve the health service. It's going to involve everything. Like, why is that?
As it should, right?
I mean, apparently the grandfather has bad eyesight.
Will it include Sherlock?
It might, yeah. Maybe they should bring Benedict Cumberbatch.
But the thing is, as well, the girl didn't say, "Who's this man who's taking me?"
No,
home?
the girl
Yeah,
actually
this is not
says
my
when she was
grandfather.
asked, she said, "Oh yeah, that's my granddad."
Really? Oh my god!
Or maybe she just wanted to get out of school. I mean, I
guess
there's
so,
times that I want to get out of school.
Think about when you're young and there's an old guy that's like, yeah, get in, I'll take you. And he's like,
all befuddled.
Wait, did
and
this happen to you?
He's
Miles?
like
'Cause
Mr.
that's frightening.
Magoo.
no, it's just
Did he
drive
have
me
a
to
bag
Chuck
of
E.
boiled
Cheese and leave me
sweets?
there?
Yeah, really. I could like con like some ice cream out of this old man or something.
Yeah. Separates that old guy from
That's insane. So this little girl got this prescription that clearly wasn't for her. Did she take it?
Yeah.
Did she get sick from it, or?
Not as no.
I think
Obviously, she showed it to the parents when she got home, and the parents took it straight off her. But it had the name of the girl that it was supposed to have been on the bottle. So it's weird, man. Like,
That's mind-boggling. I can't see something like that taking
Medical
place.
services are very trusting over there because we have insurance identification cards and all sorts of
I'm
things.
trying to think. Even if I took a child, I presented a child as mine, and they would look on the records and they would say, I mean, they would have to be an exact match. They would have to be the exact height, close enough height-wise, weight-wise, eye color, all that stuff, I guess, before someone would notice.
I remember my mother carrying around insurance cards with my name on it. She'd have to hand it over every time.
Yeah, but it doesn't have your picture. So if your mom walked in with Michael and said, "This is Stan," would they be like, "Oh, okay, hey Stan"? If it's a new doctor, they've never seen you.
That's
And
true.
needless to say, Sean, being the only two people here to have kids, getting your kid out of school is like getting a gold bar out of Fort Knox. I mean, you actually had to show a photo ID. You had to have it matched to your children's, their number.
Be on a list.
Yeah, be on the list before they would allow you to take a kid. I mean, that's the way it is in this country. So you could never walk out with a wrong kid.
And
That's
sometimes,
definitely not like that in this country.
no,
well,
it's
you
pretty
guys, I
liberal
don't think.
over here.
Like we because obviously I've got a 6-year-old daughter, so if we have somebody else picking her up from school, we'll phone the school and say, "Oh, like if it's my sister, her auntie's going to pick her up today." And
Everyone's just
they're supposed to have a
giving children away.
password system, but they tend not to.
Oh,
So like my sister could go round to the door and say, "I'm here to collect Chloe," and they'll say, "Okay, then here you go."
I don't think the
But
people
you actually introduce her though. You said you walk her in and say, "This is my sister. She's going to be picking my."
No, he said they call up.
we phone.
No, you phone in and say, "Oh, my sister will be."
See, England hasn't had the issues that America has had.
Also,
I think that's a big thing because I can't even get into the school without being buzzed in.
Yeah.
Like I can't open a
Yeah,
door.
it's weird. So Tom, I got to say this in. So you could just phone up and say, "My sister's going to pick my daughter or son up. I don't know who you have." And Grace Jones could just show up and they will give your child to this person.
I don't know. Grace Jones is scary.
Yeah, I don't think
I'd be
I'd trust
suspect to
anyone
her.
with Grace Jones.
I mean, I know I've gone to have lunch with my niece, and they literally have to give them my name. I go in there, they check my ID. I have to write my name out. Then I sit there and wait for my niece to show up. Like they won't get her for.
Yeah, it's like visiting someone in prison.
Yeah,
it's
it
really
really
cool.
is. Yay, American school system.
Well, if you think
But is
about
this all to do with gun crime over in your country?
Well,
then?
like, you know,
I think it has to do with a fear,
security issues,
Yeah.
big fears.
It's to do with gross old men with vans taking your kids out of school fear.
Well, now you see, we do have that problem in this country as well. Like paedophilia is a massive problem in this country
clearly,
too. And also,
some
the
old
last,
man
the
took a
last
girl.
school shooting that we had was probably 1995, the Dunblane.
Yeah.
The other issue is like if you think about historically, like when our parents probably like us sitting here did it, they probably didn't have the same issues. Nobody locked their doors.
No, of
nobody
course
did.
not.
Stuff changed.
That was a
over
different era. My mom would write me a note to go down to the store and get beer for her when I was 10. Here, this is my son. He's buying a beer for me. Give it to him.
time. In parentheses, it says milk.
You can't do that over here.
No,
I don't think you've ever been
I don't
able to
think
do it
that's-
over here.
Maybe way back.
Unless the shopkeeper knows you and
Yeah,
your parents personally.
that's just
But they shouldn't do it.
that's,
but
that's
still.
just weird.
They shouldn't do it, but they.
So
they do.
what is the deal? Because one of the things that we've kind of covered on this show a couple of times is the weird gun crime, the gun laws and stuff in your country.
Yeah, like legally blind people being allowed to carry guns.
Yeah, in Iowa, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you said that a couple of you have got experience with guns.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what kind of experience?
Guns is a very big topic. So where do you want to start?
Well, first off, I think we
like
should
for
start
example, I mean, in your constitution it says that you have the right to bear arms, and that's fine. But do you really need like M16s and hunting
Yes.
rifles?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I had
And
a
that's the
feeling you
reason
might
why
say
it's a big topic here in the United States because there are a bunch of people. Even though I'm not a big gun owner, I still believe in my rights. So if I want to buy or to own anything, being a legal gun owner, I should be able to do that. Then there are other people on the other side that think that the most dangerous thing you should ever be able to own is a butter knife, and it should never have anything.
It's kind of like what it is over here. You can't buy a knife of any sort unless you're over 16 in this country.
Yeah, even a
18.
butter knife.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the same way it is in here. I mean, the reason we have the right to bear arms, it's because of nothing personal, but
Our fight with you guys.
You guys took our weapons away, so it took us 2
Believe
years
me,
before we finally got some weapons together.
That grudge is over now.
So
It is.
I mean,
Like quartering soldiers
yeah,
and
it's
stuff like that.
that's in our Bill of Rights. I mean, all those things are there, but to me, I think you should have the right to own a shotgun, a rifle, a pistol. Do you need a fully automatic weapon? No. Do you need a weapon that is semi-automatic that can be changed to fully automatic? No.
Yes.
Ira's being recalcitrent right now. That's all Ira's doing.
If I'm a legal gun owner, I should be able to buy whatever I
because
want.
Ira, you and I have had this conversation. You go, yeah, I agree. No, you've told me you don't need a fully automatic weapon.
No, I said, Michael, you shouldn't be able to buy a howitzer. But if I want to buy a fully automatic,
So apparently you do have a line.
yes. If you have things you can shoot planes out of the sky, no, that's too much.
So you're like, you can't
Anti-aircraft
have a
guns,
bazooka
no.
or that gun from Wolfenstein.
But a 50 cal, totally legit.
I mean,
So hold on. Let me try and
Somebody's got
reel
both.
things in a little bit here.
Yeah, you touched a very, very touchy subject here.
Yeah,
with
no,
us
I'm sorry.
Americans.
I'm beginning to
I'm
regret
trying.
it.
Well,
I don't want you guys to fight.
I'm gonna bring it back. There's no fighting here. I'll bring it back so you don't
Orange
regret
row.
it. I think it's a fantastic question, and especially historically, everybody's argument starts with the Second Amendment, and I believe that just like a lot of things in the Constitution, they were written for a specific time that no longer holds place in our society.
I agree with you. I think like most legislation in this country, parts of it are written just to get it voted into power.
also, everyone only concentrates on the second half of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment does not say you have the right to bear arms. It says in order to maintain local militias,
in order to maintain.
To maintain. That's the thing, is it prefaces it all by saying in order to maintain local militias.
It was there specifically written because we were under a, for lack of the correct term, attack.
You guys are.
Yeah.
Let me give you the other side of it.
Well, hold on. We were defending ourselves. We had an opposing army that was coming around saying it's illegal for you to have a gun. We're taking your gun away. So when we wrote our own rules, we were like, nope, nobody's allowed to take our guns. We have the rights to have these guns.
Yeah.
And whether or not that holds up today is debatable. But the answer to should I now have the ability to get the gun? I say yes, only because it's impossible to pull them off the street.
Yeah.
So do I think that there's a reason for an AR-15? other than having fun at the target range, because they are fun. Oh my god, guys! If you get the opportunity to shoot
Come
guns
to
like
America,
that,
we will help you.
You come over here, I will take you out, and you will have a blast.
Yeah, guns.
Literally,
Guns are a lot of fun.
Guns are so much
when
fun.
you wield that power in your hand and like just put holes in something from range, it's a lot of fun.
But a lot of people, they have these things because they were supposed to be hunting. They're like, we need these guns so we can hunt. We need these guns so we can protect ourselves. Some people say we need to protect ourselves from the government, and I got bad news for those people. No matter how many guns are in any state, you are not going to take down one A-10. That's all there is to it. One strafing run, if the government wants to take over, one strafing run from an airplane is going to take you and your silly M4s out. That's all there is to it.
Please, guys, don't ask us about abortion next.
Oh no, God, no! I'm not touching that subject.
He's actually pretty much covered all of it, but a lot of the other side is individual stuff, and a lot of it is anti-government sentiment, which is understood depending on the level. But he's right. Yeah, what are you going to do against an Apache helicopter?
Yeah, I'm not saying I trust the government.
Too many people play Call of Duty, and they're just like, I'm going to shoot it out of the sky with a bazooka. Where the fuck do you get a?
I have very little trust for the government and big institutions and stuff. And if they wanted to come knocking on my door and say, hey, guess what? We're staying here. I can't say, but the Constitution says I don't have to quarter soldiers. Because I'm not going to stop them. They're rolling up with their A1.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no matter how many guns the private citizens have,
you're not going to touch the
army
military.
has more.
Exactly.
They
Nick Fury says in the Avengers, ant, meat, boot.
Exactly. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a touchy subject, but yeah, I just don't see the reason for automatic weapons. Maybe a handgun or something, and like we were saying, rifles and shotguns for hunting, possibly kept in a utility room or a garage or something like that.
You guys are allowed to have those, right? You guys can have shotguns and rifles, right, for hunting.
Oh yeah, but
you need a real
it's quite strictly controlled. But there's still gun crime in this country. Guns are still on the street. People get shot still in this country. It's not unheard of at all. So even if you, like you say, even if you took away the right for people to bear arms, there would still be so many guns out there that it would be
exactly.
So it's the bad guy so it's the criminals who still have the guns, but they're taking them out of the hands of the lawful owner.
Yeah.
And another big thing that gets thrown around here in America a lot is the grandfather clausing, and that's where, because they've done it before, where they outlawed the. You're specifically talking about automatic rifles. Automatic rifles aren't a problem. Automatic weapons are not the problem that everyone thinks they are. They're actually semi-automatic, is what they're talking about. Specifically, the AR-15s and assault rifles, similar to that, like the AK-47s and stuff like that. And the problem is when they get banned, when they become outlawed, that just means you can't buy new ones. And that bothers me, even though, like I said, me personally, I agree that there's no reason for these things to exist, because I don't live in an area or a world where I need to protect myself with this massive firepower gun. But if my neighbor had one last week, they ban it today, so I'm not allowed to get one, but he still has his. That is what I think is unfair. And that's why I think we'll never win any, No arguments are going to hold up for banning weapons and getting rid of weapons. They're already out there. We need to learn how to, as a country, deal with what's there and move responsibly forward, not try and eliminate them. That's just how I feel.
And that's
that I think is a brilliant response, and one that actually kind of puts across the point a little bit more, because we don't fully understand, I don't think, the laws around it, and what it would mean to take people's guns, to outlaw guns. It would mean that there would still be some people with these. It's such a difficult topic to get your head around, especially if you don't come from a country with a culture of guns.
Exactly.
It's also very hard, because when you look at the laws, it's based on each state. And there's 50 of them.
And municipality.
And each state can decide exactly, each municipality can do it. Like, it can break down to local laws and say so that's where it gets more complex, is like, in the state of Virginia, you can get a concealed carry license, but that doesn't necessarily work in Illinois or other states. Certain other states have contracts where, Maryland, I think, if you have a concealed carry in Virginia, you can bring your concealed carry into Maryland, and Maryland will recognize it. But then
you can't do that. You can't. Well, hold on. You can't drive. So in between, I don't know how familiar. You're British. You probably know it way better than most Americans do, but. To get from parts of Virginia into Maryland, you can actually drive through D.C.
Yep.
So in Virginia, you are legally allowed to carry this weapon. open or concealed.
Not
In
DC.
Maryland, the same way. But if you drive through DC with a gun on your possession, even if it's in the trunk, you're in trouble.
And you're going to be stuck in DC for an hour anyway.
Yeah.
No matter when you get anywhere fucking near it.
It literally is a fucking quagmire with laws. Like, because each state does it differently.
Yeah.
California does it differently. And you know what? But that's why we have the states.
Yep. And
You don't like it? Move to another state.
concept of federalism.
That's really the way it works.
And I deal in regulations and law all day at work. You know, it's what I do, and it can be very circular and confusing. So you guys bring up a good point.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, it's just a very, very confusing system, and it's difficult to kind of get around it. Really, get through it.
That's why we have professionals to tell us stuff.
But to finish it off, guns are so much fun.
They are.
I don't want to undersell that.
And I look forward to come out and firing some.
You have our invitation extended indefinitely.
Good stuff.
You
I
guys
like
come over here, and we will take you for all the American fun that you can handle.
Roller
I like
coasters, guns,
At the same time.
Yes, roller coasters and guns at
A
the same
roller
time.
coaster
Sure, why
shaped
not?
like a gun that shoots you somewhere.
And if you come over
That's
here, we
exactly
can
what
take
it-
you to do British things, which are, I don't know, we can go to the races, the horse racing.
Yeah.
Can we see some rain?
Watch a game of cricket or something.
Cricket.
You
I don't know what a crumpet is.
Well,
know
well,
what cricket.
We'll even give
You
you a
don't want
gas
to know
tank
what
to fill
cricket
up.
is, believe me.
Yeah, believe it, both of us, neither of us, I think, like horse racing or cricket, but that's all we can do that's pretty much British.
Now, in the last episode as well, in your episode, you said about the Mike Myers sketch from SNL.
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Did you get a chance to
Simon
look it up?
Thing. And we had an assignment to go away and find out what that was.
Oh, you looked it up. This is
Simon.
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we finished our assignment and we're handing it in. Basically, he is taking off a children's TV program from back in the 70s.
Yeah, so that's why neither of us knew what it was.
But as soon as I saw the intro to it, I recognised it. It's one of those ones that, you just see. And it was called Simon in the Land of Chalk Drawings.
Yep. Oh.
And we have the intro music here that we're probably going to try and play now. We'll
If you
see
wanna
what
listen to it.
happens.
Please do, yes. Cue this up.
Here we go.
This is so perfectly British. I love it.
Well, you know my name is.
It's like playing a pipe organ thing or something. God.
And it's about this kid who draws things with some chalk on a magic chalkboard, and
That is
he can
awesome.
then get into the picture, and that's his little
He lives in that
imaginary
land.
world that he can live
So
in.
did you guys look up the Mike Myers version of it?
Does he do that
Yeah,
because
yeah.
his
We
father
watched,
leaves him
we
alone?
watched one where Danny DeVito was in the bath with.
Yes, exactly.
Are you looking at my butt?
You cheeky bum lookers.
That's it.
But yeah, so we learnt about that.
That was interesting.
And also, we realised that that's a precursor to another children's TV show over here called Penny Crayon. And she was a girl who would draw stuff on the wall, and the stuff would come to life. So it's kind of the inverse version.
Yeah.
Whereas he would draw stuff on a chalkboard and be able to go into the drawing.
She drew
She would
stuff
draw
and then
stuff.
it came out.
Yeah, like she could draw a cow, and it would come to life and be a cow. In
That
the
is
real
so
world.
funny because
So-
the song is absolutely the
Can you?
same.
I don't know if you guys remember real
Yeah.
quick, since this wasn't planned out. I don't know if you can hear it, but I queued up the Simon from Saturday Night Live thing. Let me know if you
Do
guys can
it.
hear it real quick, and we'll play it.
Yeah, do it.
Could you hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay, so here I'll turn it up a little bit and I'll start it over.
do it.
Do and go back and hit play.
Well, you know my name is Simon, and I like to do drawings.
It's so close. It's so unbelievably close.
Long, so come and do drawings with me. Come and do drawings with me.
Yeah, so that was classic British that they were taking off. I love it. That is so awesome.
So well covered that.
You guys did fantastic with your homework.
Well, thank you very much. We're nothing but thorough.
I think. Do you guys want to get into a regular bit that we do on our show?
Absolutely.
Because our regular section is the ABCs, or it's only going to be regular for another couple of weeks now.
Yeah,
I
we're nearly
believe, 'cause
finished.
We're almost at the end of the alphabet.
Almost done.
But we will. It's basically we bring to the table every week one thing that we find interesting, or that we do, or whatever.
We think other people would like to know about.
Yeah, and it's called the ABCs of ABH, and this is the theme song that will get stuck in your head.
W. That doesn't fit with the song quite as well, does it?
Really doesn't, does it? No.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you guys joined us on a great week for picking something with the letter W.
Yes. And I think,
as guests.
yes, perhaps we should
they
hear
finish
yours
each
first.
other's sentences.
Well, should we start with one of ours and then hear yours, and then I would like to close on mine, actually.
It works. It's your show. It works for us.
So you want me to go first?
If you like.
Okay, I think as this is like a podcast team up, and we're very supportive of podcasts.
Yes.
There's one that our other friends, History of Misunderstanding, they've been doing Follow Friday and talking about for a long time, called We're Alive.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like it's a serialized story, and they act out as a radio show, which is podcast, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, I started listening to it about 2 weeks ago, and I've nearly made it the whole way through, like 30 or 40 episodes, whilst keeping up with other podcasts as well.
I see.
And it's a zombie survival podcast, and it follows these army guys who are in a...
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, you listened to it?
Thank you for... I did after you tweeted it. Thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really good, and they bring in, I don't know how far you've got, but they bring in about halfway through the first series, because it follows one guy, and he's talking, he's narrating it.
Yeah, I like it.
And and then about halfway through the series, like somebody's like, oh, what are you writing down there? He's like, oh, I'm writing a journal, keeping track of everything that's going on. You guys should do it as well. And when he says that, then you start to get the story from their point of view, and they start narrating it, and it's a really, really good way for them to go off and do different side stories and things. And it is brilliant. I mean, at times it gets close to The Walking Dead, and you're kind of like, oh, they're starting to rip stuff off, but then it kind of moves away. Yeah. It's fucking brilliant, and I think everyone should go and listen to it.
So it's called
We're Alive.
We're Alive, yeah. It's zombiepodcast.com is what it looks like. And I liked it so much because I don't know about you guys, but you have a PS3, you should play The Last of Us. I've said it a million times.
I know. It's one of those games I'm trying to... I will work my way towards.
Yeah, definitely, because from what you said about it, it sounded, well, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
It's incredible, but I played the game, and then a couple times, and I went and listened to this podcast after you guys recommended it. I really enjoyed it.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to add that to the list. And you guys mentioned History of Misunderstanding. Big fan of those guys. I wish they would hurry up and start recording things frequently.
Yeah, they are awesome.
And what is it with Smokey basically hiding behind the internet?
Yeah, I know. He only does stuff on Facebook. He doesn't do stuff on Twitter.
Oh, he does things on Facebook. I'll have to.
Yeah, I've got him. He's well. I don't think I should put his name out there. I don't. But he does the Facebook side of things more.
Okay.
But I've got him as a friend on Facebook as well.
So the question is, do they have a fan page, or is it just his private?
It's on
just
Facebook.
His private page?
I don't know whether it's private. I wouldn't have thought so, because I managed to find it.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Those guys, I love listening to their. Yeah, and he's doing that new stuff, Smokey's movie school, I guess, with his girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 5-minute reviews as well.
Yep, 5-minute reviews. Yep. Awesome. So, what was the name of that podcast again?
It's We're Alive.
Yeah.
We're Alive. Definitely going to add that.
Zombiepodcast.com. Yep.
Cool.
That's the one. So, shall we hear a couple of all of yours? Like, who wants to start?
Ira, come on, man.
No, he's looking at you.
Stan.
I'll go.
Miles is going to go. Here we go.
On, somebody jump on it.
Miles is going to jump up. Pointing at each other.
So I think we've decided that we're going to try and stick as geek as we possibly can, since we are the Nerd Church.
Well, of course,
podcast.
and that's what your show's about. And people should go to nerdchurch.com.
But it's nerdy without being too nerdy.
Yeah, well,
it's nerd. Yeah. Remember, it's nerdchurchpodcast.com.
Oh,
somebody's squatting on nerdchurch.com.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
And it has nothing to do with us.
Rubbish.
It has to do with a bunch of nerds actually going to church.
Yeah, they're actually talking about religious stuff, and it's not us. So.
No one wants to hear that.
Exactly.
Least of all, God.
Nerd Church.
No, he does. He tweets about it all day long.
You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Twitter. They're all over the place. But yeah, so we're going for the nerdier W's now.
Okay, Miles, hit it.
I picked something, since I'm kind of, I guess, Mr. Retro here. Mm-hmm. I guess me and Ira kind of hold that, is Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh.
Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I have no idea. This should...
I grew up playing this game, and what it was
it was a computer game.
It was a computer game at first. Yeah, it says all the games within the franchise are aimed at preteens. I was a preteen at one point, I guess, as much as I hate that phrase. It says many entries in the franchise contain elements of various genres, including mystery, comedy, science fiction, spy-fi, which I had never heard before, like spy fiction, and fantasy. So basically, it was like you're chasing this woman named Carmen Sandiego around the world, and in the process, you learn geography.
Yeah, like you had to figure out
math.
the clues. What?
Yeah, they drop clues for you, and she's in a very sandy area, and she's looking at a big giant triangle in the sand, and you'd know, hey, she's in Egypt.
Yep.
Teaches kids geography, and then it went on to science and all that stuff. Where in time is Carmen Sandiego? They would give you time clues.
Where in Europe? Where in America's
Europe?
past?
There was a game show, if I'm not mistaken, right?
There was.
Yeah, and a TV show, a cartoon.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon.
Yep, it was based on a video game.
Yeah, I
Yep.
didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a really, really good series. So that's kind of mine.
So the reason you're searching for Carmen Sandiego is because she steals things.
Oh, see,
But she's just a woman in a red coat, and she steals things like the pyramid and the Eiffel Tower.
She's like David Copperfield.
Yeah, she's not pocketing. She's not nipping something at the grocer or anything. She's stealing monuments and huge things, and you're like,
the Great Wall is missing. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Okay,
She
obviously,
might be in China.
if she snuck Khufu's tomb out of Egypt, I'm sure she can get away with anything.
Yeah, she's David Copperfield.
She's like
And
the
I love this.
ultimate
This is-
supervillain.
Yeah, the main premise follows the user or protagonist who became agents of Acme. Like, if you've ever heard that, like all the dumbbells and cartoons and everything are made of.
Another commercial made-up enterprise.
Yeah, the Acme Detective Agency in an attempt to thwart Vile with periods in between it, like V period I period L period E. She's the ringleader, and she's a former Acme agent.
I see.
They don't even try with these things. It's like,
So it's like GoldenEye.
I stole it from Looney Tunes. Yeah. Yeah, it's like GoldenEye. It's exactly like GoldenEye. But yeah,
Stan, Michael?
that's mine.
I'll be more than happy to go ahead and let's just get this out of the way. If you guys have listened to the podcast, which I know you have, I bring up this all the time, and it was the first thing that popped in my head when I thought of W. Warriors, come out and play. If you guys have not seen the Warriors, I swear to God, you're as stupid as my brother Sean.
I'm as stupid as your brother Sean.
That is not nice.
It is one of the best movies to come out in the 1970s for American film. It's a total cult film. It's set in the 1970s. Basically, what happens is there's multiple gangs in New York City.
Multiple? You mean like scads of gangs?
Yeah, it's insane.
Every borough had its own gang.
Every block pretty. It was insane.
And they were like crazy, weird gangs like the Baseball Furies. They got painted up like these weird baseball clowns and had bats
and roller skates.
And the most powerful gang was.
Hold on, I'm sorry. If your gang has roller skates, I'm not afraid of you.
It's hilarious. The most powerful gang is the Gramercy Riffs, and the Gramercy Riffs. The leader comes to the conclusion that there's only like 35,000 cops in all of New York City, but there are 60,000 members of the gangs. So he calls a giant like meeting together of all the gangs to form under one banner so that they could basically own New York City. And in the process, he is shot during his speech, and someone blames the Warriors, the small gang from Coney Island.
No. Yeah, Warriors are from Coney Island.
The Warriors are from Coney Island. Someone blames them, and so the entire group of gangs is going after the Warriors, and the Warriors, it follows their trek from being deep in New York City and having to get all the way to Coney Island and the amount of fighting they have to do. It is a fantastic film, great music, great acting. You'll see some actors that are famous nowadays, like, oh, it's that guy, but this is where they started out, and it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun.
One of the most recognizable points of reference in this movie is, I'm sure you've heard it somewhere, but while this leader is giving his speech to all these gangs, and aren't they like gathered in some kind of cemetery or something?
No, it's Central Park.
Central Park, and then they make the Warriors make their escape through a cemetery. But as he's giving this speech, he's up there and he's like, "Can you dig it?"
I've heard that.
So if you hear that sample anywhere, that's where that sample came from.
It's on Netflix.
Also, it
and
was turned into a video game by Rockstar, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yes,
it was so much fun to play that video
Oh my god!
game.
Yeah, there's a lot of great sort of old school punk rock from New York that's playing. Lots of old school music in there. It's a fun game to play. Michael and I played it for hours and hours.
And the thing that I love about it is each gang, like Stan said, is different. You've got the Gramercy Riffs are is one of the African American gangs, but they all do kung fu or karate, and so they all dress like in gis and whatnot. You've got the Baseball Furies, which they all wear baseball uniforms
with clown faces.
And they paint themselves with clown faces.
Black and white clown faces.
Yeah, there's the I forgot who the hobos were. There's like
the orphans.
Yeah, the orphans, and they're just these miscreants that travel along the roofs.
They
just
look like
bums.
destitute little scamps.
And don't forget about the gang that almost brought the Warriors down, which didn't look like a gang, just a bunch of hot, horny chicks.
Oh God, yeah,
they turned out to be a gang.
Yeah,
and they almost brought the Warriors down by hitting them below the belt.
Yeah,
Do you know, I'm really surprised that Ira's the one that brought that up. I wouldn't expect it from you.
As am I.
But yeah, honestly, if you guys got Netflix, and I know you do, check it out. You're gonna.
I will
love
look
It's
for it. I don't know if it's on there though, but I will definitely look for it.
It should be on there. It should, and I'm telling you, it's one of those movies you just turn off and just enjoy the ride. And yes, the Warriors look stupid. Their uniform is so fucking stupid
Michael,
looking.
It's highly stylized and very corny.
Yeah.
So they look
like Native
stupid, but it's
American
fitting for the movie.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's gritty, it's raw, it's a lot of fun, and you're just like, and by the end of it, you're just like, you realize the Warriors are the most badass fucking gang. And even though there's only like 8 of them in the entire
They
group.
can't be more badass than the gang from Beat It, can they?
Oh,
Oh, come on.
They won't dance you to death.
All right, so you finished, Michael?
So the Warriors. Okay, it looks like Ira's
Yeah, let's
ready.
do this.
Ira's winding up.
All right, so my W word, being the nerd that I am, will be warp drive.
Now we're talking.
Which is a hyper theoretical, faster than light FTL propulsion system, in many sci-fi settings, most notably Star Trek. A spaceship equipped with FTL can travel at apparently greater than light speeds by shrinking or collapsing space in front of it and enlarging space behind it by creating a warp bubble around the ship, which gives it real space within the bubble. And the ship then actually surfs like a surfer on a wave at hypervelocity speeds. This jump technology this traveling technology is totally different than jump technology, which you might see in other shows like Infinite Improbability Drive that you might see.
And then there's Dune, where they fold
Dune.
space.
Which is really cool because with the warp drive, other than actually jumping from one point to the next point instantaneously, you can actually interact with the space around you. You can slow down, or you can have other ships chasing you, and blah, 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 blah. A couple of hyperspace things you might have seen is Stargate, Warhammer 4050, Babylon 5, Cowboy Bebop, and Andromeda. Things you might have seen that actually use warp drive technology: Stars, EVE Online, Earth and Beyond, StarCraft, Dark Space, Starship Troopers, Doctor Who, and Star Ocean are all examples of warp drive.
Just reference Star Ocean. That's great. It's an old RPG.
And it's funny because all the things that I've read about that as researching, there is actually a lot of physics behind it, and NASA's actually doing research on actual warp drive technology right now. And it's pretty funny how the fiction has become the science because there's so many geeks that like the show said, is this possible?
Right. Wasn't there a documentary where they basically examined how Star Trek affected scientists, and then scientists basically just started picking projects from Star Trek because they're like, no, this is totally feasible. This is something just outside the range of what we can do now.
They're working on the tricorder right now.
The teleportation.
NASA's figured out, like, because the guy who first coined the, if I say his name right, he's a Mexican physicist. He, in the early 90s, he figured out the math behind the warp drive. His name is Alcubierre, and it's called the Alcubierre warp drive. The problem was that the drive required more power to drive it than could possibly be found on Earth. And then NASA, about 4 or 5 years ago, figured out that if you fudge the math a little bit and you don't make the warp bubble as Alcubierre had it, but you make it narrower and you alter its shape, you can use like a quarter of the power that was necessary. So now they're like, well, wait a second. Mathematically, we might actually be able to do it. It's still a metric fuck ton of power to do. Let's be honest.
The Alcubierre drive is actually mentioned in a bunch of the stuff they're researching here. And it's funny because until I started seeing this, I never even heard this dude's name before.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah,
No.
I heard about it when it first came out.
Ant and Tom have never had to be this quiet on their own before.
No, I'm fascinated. Like, it's a good thing that you guys can actually talk for a while because we're getting massive dropouts on this side for the Skype, so don't worry about it.
I'm really looking forward to hearing about that warp drive, though.
But it is something I've been meaning to jump in, but I don't know when you're not talking so that I can jump in. Because, like, I mean, I've been reading a lot about this kind of warp drive technology that they've been actually trying to utilize and kind of actually do in the real world, and it's fascinating. I think they were trying to make it. Aren't they doing it like at the atomic level or something like that?
They're smaller level, definitely.
Yes.
Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's. I think they're not going atomic. I think they're going like just,
even smaller than that. It's because of the fact of the energy requirements to do such a thing. It's astronomical. I mean, we all can't have a collapsing star in our little blue box that we have all the energy we can do with.
Boom.
So.
Yeah, but you know, a Mr. Fusion is totally affordable.
Hell yeah. And all you got to do is drop some banana peels and some Miller High Life cans.
The champagne of beer.
See how the Americans do it?
Yep.
You Brits use a freaking star to power your time traveling
you just need
machines.
like a modified blender, yeah.
Exactly. We put a food processor in there and throw some old redneck beer cans in, and there you go.
Fusion.
All right. Well, I hate to go extremely nerdy and geeky, but that's my W because being a huge fan of Star Trek, I've always thought it was, awesome. And at the fact that the ship is actually, you see those huge nacelles, those nacelles aren't actually propelling the ship at all. All those nacelles are doing. Yeah, they're creating the normal field bubble, and then they're just collapsing space in front of it and expanding space behind it, so the ship surfs.
The only thing that as I've gotten older, because my brothers, told me to start reading more physicist books. One thing that I've noticed is that traveling at warp, if you travel from point A to point B at warp speed, and let's say it's like 50 light years away, when you travel back to point A, they're going to be like how many years older than you?
Yeah,
because
tens of thousands.
Yeah, they're going to be like tens of thousands of years old.
They actually explain this away with the bubble, because the bubble actually, when it creates a bubble of normal space within that.
Yeah, so you're talking warp technology, which is the warping of space time. Yeah. You're talking about
faster than light.
You're not talking faster than light. You're just talking light travel. You get to percentages of light, and you're still traveling actually in time. So if you started now and hit light speed, you'd be, X far away in X seconds. But back here, we would have aged 10,000 plus, 100,000 years or whatever.
Yeah, the normal bubble just totally takes that whole thing out. So you age the same way as everyone else around you.
Because in warp technology, you're not actually traveling faster. You're covering a distance faster than light could travel.
12 parsecs.
But you are not moving.
And not to mention, right now, it's totally impossible to go faster than the speed of light.
So
this allows you to go faster than the speed of light in increments of like 3. So it's like 3, 6.
You're talking about the
9.
warp factor?
The warp factor.
The math behind warp factor. Let's not mire down their show with the math of warp.
I will
save that for your next
it's
episode.
huge. So you'll get someplace a lot faster than the speed of light would. So the time, the whole time difference would be
nullified.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We know better than to
it's time-
interrupt.
I think it's time for me to-
don't want to make him angry.
No, you're good.
Iris.
You guys are fine because I can't smash you too far away.
That's true. The Atlantic is in the way, and you've not managed to smash that yet.
I will smash the Atlantic. Stan?
And leave it to me to bring it back down to a layman's level. I want to talk about something that's called Wisest Wizard.
That's interesting.
What is that?
That's a double W.
Yes, it is. And it's a drinking game.
Stan and his alliteration and his drinking.
Okay, so Wisest Wizard is actually a drinking game that you can play with other drinking games because it's fairly basic. Basically, it gives you a level up system for any other drinking that you're doing during the day.
Brilliant.
So what you do is everybody starts out, you have a bunch of friends, you have a bunch of beer, you have a few bottles of liquor, and you have duct tape.
This usually ends up bad.
This ends up awesome because
Somebody ends up in jail last time I played this game.
That sounds a bit rapey.
Exactly.
Are they going to be like hostage videos or something like that?
actually the duct tape is used much more benignly than you think. Okay, so a wizard. The alternate name for this game is called Wizard Staff. So the object of the game is to become the wisest wizard, to have the grandest staff of all of your wizards. And the way you get the largest staff is by drinking more beers. So every time you consume a beer, you add it to your staff. So once you've drunk one, you're a first level wizard.
Oh, Jesus.
Once you have two,
you know what the best thing is drinking has always made people feel they were wiser the more they drank.
it makes me feel like a wizard. So this totally fits.
There it is.
So once you have two, you take the duct tape and you tape your 2 beer cans together. That's your staff.
Oh my God! Are you building
I see.
Yes. As you drink beers, you are building your staff.
So the person with the biggest staff is the wisest wizard.
Correct. There's a little bit of a curveball, although
Drunkest wizard.
it depends on who you're playing with and what rules you set up beforehand, because they say you should all sit down while you're sober, determine the extra rules that you're going to play with, and write them down. So if some wizard happens to wander into the game, they have to be basically appraised of the rules. And if you have them written down, then there's proof that you all agreed upon them. Because we all know how we get when we're drunk.
Tom thinks
I was going to say, I think most of the time...
Why did you look at me when you say that?
With drinking, most of the time with drinking games, I think it's best to set out the rules and have them written down in the middle of the room somewhere, because everyone gets into arguments and it gets nasty.
So where the nuance comes in is at either 3rd or 5th level, depending on who you're playing with and how hardcore they are.
You get a shot?
Yes, Michael. That's what we call fighting a boss.
That's awesome.
It's like fucking drinking games for the bloody RPG players.
Yeah.
It's drinking games for me. And I don't drink that much
Drinking
at all.
games I wish I knew 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
So basically the rule is when you get to either level 3 or level 5, to progress to the next level, you must fight a boss. Now, to fight a boss, you have to choose one of the bottles of liquor that's around and take a shot. Somebody else can join you. Everybody can join in if they want. But basically, the first person who gets to level 5 or 3, depending, they determine what the boss is. So if they pick Jose Cuervo, when you want to go to level 5, you have to drink Cuervo.
Oh, God.
So whoever's drinking the fastest basically determines the pace and which shots
and
are...
which boss they have to battle. Everyone has to
correct.
battle.
So
That
if
sounds
you
hard.
Yes, if you decide that you want to take a shot with the leader at that point, you can do that, and you don't have to take it. You can go up that level when you get to it because you've already fought the boss. But if you decide not to, when you get to level 5 and you want to progress to level 6, you have to take the same shot that they did, because everyone that comes before you gets to determine what you have to do next.
We couldn't play that with our friend Slogger. He'd be choosing absinthe at level 3 and level 4.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he would.
That shit is cat puke.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the green fairy there,
I
Green
prefer
Hulk?
the absinthe to the tequila, though, if I'm honest. I can't do tequila.
Or are you talking about regular, just straight up absinthe, or are you talking about the whole thing with the sugar and the spoon and all that?
Either or.
You take it straight up more than tequila. That's cool.
Fuck that.
horrible.
Fuck Sambuca. Fuck all that flavor.
And Sean
That
was
shit
so happy. He showed up like, oh, there's this great drink that Hemingway drank. It's called Death in the Morning. Let me make it for you. It's champagne. And I was like, I like champagne. He goes, and it's absinthe. I go, well, I've never had absinthe, but I like champagne. This got to be great. And he mixed it half and half and handed it to me. Now, literally,
Half and half.
I took a sip and almost spit it on the floor. And he
This
goes,
is
what?
why it's
You
called
don't
Death
like
in the Morning.
That's why Hemingway wasn't a great writer. This is what he fucking drank, goddammit.
So there are a few alternate rules that you can play. It's stated here in the article that I've read about it is that a lot of people like to play it with games such as beer pong. So if you win a beer pong game, that adds 2 levels to whoever's on your side. So in addition to drinking the cups in the beer pong game, which they basically say, we're going to play wizard chess instead of actually saying beer pong. That's another one of the rules. You can insert, different wizardly words instead of, okay, so I'm getting drunk. No, I'm feeling wise. And if you break those rules, I'm sure somebody will make you drink.
I think I might use that the next time I'm really pissed. Is like, no, I'm not as drunk. I'm just getting cleverer.
Do you guys have any fucking idea how brilliant I am right now?
I am so wise.
Oh yeah, one of the euphemisms I love to use is I can't get us home. I'm too fun to drive.
And here's another throwback. You guys don't. Michael and I's favorite. When you get that plastered, you're not drunk. You're time traveling.
Yes, exactly.
It only goes into the future.
It does.
That's
the problem.
I remember having a drink, and how did I wake up here? I was time traveling.
Remember when I called you on Father's Day after we had that party at my house? And I called you up, I called my brother up at 9 in the morning going, Sean, somebody puked in my sink. What the fuck happened last night? And Sean's like, it was probably you. And then all of a sudden my brain just replayed a memory of me throwing up in my sink, and I was
We
like,
would say that. I was like, dude, do you have any idea what time I stepped into the TARDIS last night? About 9:30. Okay, I know you guys are cutting it close to your listeners. They get angry when you
We're
go over
coming
your
up.
time.
No, it's fine. We got another 10.
Well, I'll make mine quick. I don't want to take up too much time, but keeping in the geek thing, I'm gonna go with Watchmen.
Nice.
No.
I don't know if you guys have read that.
Oh yes.
Sounds like definitely Tom has. Ant.
I did start to read it, but I was
Started?
reading all the news articles and everything in between, so like it was taking me a long
Oh
time
god,
to
and
get
that's
through it.
to me, it's so worth it though.
Oh yeah.
it's
I mean,
such
I
a
didn't want to
great
miss them
graphic
because I know they add stuff to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people who aren't familiar, Watchmen came out in '86. It's a graphic novel by Alan Moore. And it's a very, very amazing story. I think it reeks of the '80s,
Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
but it's great. And I think it was really inspiration for a lot of the best comic writers that we have today. They all, Grant Morrison, they all go back and they say, where did you start out? What was your inspiration? And it was anything Alan Moore did, basically, and Watchmen is, I think, the pinnacle of his work. And of course, there was a Watchmen movie,
There was.
which some people couldn't stand, some people liked. I enjoyed it. I've seen it multiple times.
Yeah, me too. I love that film. I think it's great.
I think the ending works better in the film than it does, at least because since
Yeah.
nowadays it works better than it did in the comic.
Yeah,
where the
definitely.
comic, because for me it was just one of those, like when I read the comic and then I saw the ending in the movie and I was like, that makes more sense, but it's also more modern. It's a whole lot better than just some big scary space alien creature,
Weird
etc.
squid psych attack thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what the '80s were. It was trying to get everybody to work together to fight a common enemy. And in the movie, they changed it to make the common enemy Manhattan himself.
Yeah.
Instead of some alien that invades using Manhattan's technology, now the common enemy is the most
Manhattan
dangerous
himself.
creature on the planet.
The Superman.
Exactly. And so I like Watchmen, and that's my W. And a really quick side story, since I know you guys have. Do you both have children, or is it just
No,
Ant?
just Ant.
Okay, so picture this, Ant. I went to see Watchmen for the second time in the theater, and as I'm sitting there, I see two guys walk into the back of the theater with their 6 and 8-year-old sons, and they just pull up a chair. They sit in their seat, and I look over and I'm like, what the hell? Because I had already seen it. I knew all of the gratuitous sex scenes and the gratuitous violence, which of course I
A
love.
giant blue dong.
The Indigo Dragon.
Yes.
The Indigo Dragon. That was good, Stan. That was good. But seriously, could you imagine? I mean, what kind of parent exposes their 6 and 8-year-old kids
That's awful.
to Rorschach putting a butcher's knife straight into the skull of some dude?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, good point. And
well, you say that, but we've got neighbours, and they've recently moved in the last couple of months, and I mean, the little boy, he's friends with my daughter. He's 7 years old. He came round and just to have a little play or whatever. And then when he went home, his mum said, "Oh, you can go and play on the PlayStation if you want." And I said, "Oh, what are you playing at the moment?" And would you believe he's playing Grand Theft Auto 5
Oh my god.
Jesus.
at the age of
Yikes.
7?
that's a bit wrong.
That's insanity. And I mean, I'm not one who says that people should be parenting one way or another, and I know all of the psychological things that go along with that.
Yeah.
But there's just certain age limits. I mean, ages where the brain doesn't have enough information to base rational thought on.
No.
And as you get older, you know that while it may be fun, you're not supposed to beat up the hooker to get your money back.
no, that's right.
But in the
This is
game,
America, and we're capitalists.
Exactly. I want my money, bitch. But
That's it.
I saw when we saw The Conjuring. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
It was really
No.
No.
good. It was good. But it was old school horror. I enjoyed. But there was like 3 little kids in there, and this is at the Alamo too, where we went over there. I was like, "What the hell?" The little boy's like, I look back at him in the middle of the movie, and he's just
I think moments like that are parents that
sitting
just
there. Like his
they don't-
eyes are like bigger than my
It's
cat's.
parents that are either oblivious or they just don't
don't
care.
give a shit.
They
I
Those
think
are
don't
the
they
same
want to go
parents.
and see the film regardless of whether they can get
they
a
just don't
sitter
give a
or
shit.
not.
It's like if they want to go out and do some coke and and watch some porno. I was like, well, what are we going to do with Johnny? Who cares? Bring him along.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
think
care.
I was in the cinema recently. I can't remember what film it was, but there was a young kid crying, and it sounded like an infant, 2, 3. And I remember being really shocked. I can't remember.
I think you said about it on the podcast. I remember the story.
I've mentioned it on the podcast, and it must have been. It wasn't anything too scary, but it was definitely an intense film.
Yeah, it's too much for the child's brain to handle.
And
That's
why
all there
would
is
you
to
do
it.
it? And this father had to take his kid out of the cinema.
They're just
I wish I
shitty
could
people that
remember now what it
are
was.
selfish. That's all there is. It's being selfish.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
make it out
You know,
on
it's
a
because
night on
that
their
guy
own.
wanted to see the film regardless of whether he had the kid or not there with him.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so Watchmen is a great film. Brilliant graphic novel.
Yep,
It is.
and that's it for the Nerd Church W.
Is that all of you? There's not
think
any,
that is.
the other.
Well, we got 3 more people here, but we're going to make them wait.
Yeah. We're gonna, they're
Upstairs watching TV.
So I'm going to close it out with my W. My W is walking, because I'm going to be doing a lot of that next week. I'm going to plug my charitable deed. Next week I'm going on the 3 Peaks Challenge, which is a thing. I will be climbing the 3 highest mountains in the UK.
You're fucking crazy.
Ben Nevis in Scotland, Scafell Pike in England, and Mount Snowdon in Wales. They're all over 1,000 metres tall.
Wow.
And I will be doing all that in 24 hours. So that's a thing. I should be doing a hell of a lot of walking, and I will hurt like hell. And if you would like to donate, any of our listeners or any of the new listeners, because I'm trying to get blood from anyone, we've got a Just Giving page. It's www.justgiving.com/RPO, and the RPO is in capitals, and then in lowercase it's 3 Peaks. So RPO 3 Peaks. Go on there. You can either donate on the website itself, or you can text across some money from your phone to if you text chat, that's CHAT 88 to 770 70070. I promise it's not some weird chat date
subscription service.
All the money goes to the Kent Air Ambulance, which is a brilliant cause, because it's completely and utterly donation run, and to have a helicopter be able to get to you if you're out in the middle of nowhere and have had a heart attack or a stroke or something horrible like that has happened, an ambulance would take ages to get there. It wouldn't be able to get to the terrain that you're on. It's a brilliant cause. And I shall be doing my utmost to get the 4 of us that are doing the challenge now to the finish line on time.
I've just remembered as well. Did you want to take the camera to vlog it?
Yes, I'm going to be taking a camera.
Yeah, so
to
there
vlog
will be
it.
videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
at some
we're going to
point.
do a YouTube video for it, and then I'd imagine we'll do a whole episode where we dissect it. Because it's all. But yeah, so walking, I'm going to do a fuckload of walking. So please give generously, because we're all going to suffer.
In the W theme, we think you're pretty wacko.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said
3 mountains.
You said chat 88, and does that mean I get to talk to the DeLorean?
Nicely done.
I like it. I hope so.
Real quick, do you have any idea if that place? Do you know what they accept fund wise? Do they take PayPal?
International. I think it is an international site, isn't it? But I don't know whether they would convert $1 subscription donation, or not. I'm not sure.
Do they convert bucks to quids? That's what we need to know.
Bucks to quids.
I'm not entirely sure. I will have to look it up.
I should imagine they would.
But do you know if they accept PayPal or if it's?
PayPal you can pay through.
And PayPal
there
do
is
the
a PayPal way. So yeah, you can either enter your bank details or you can use your PayPal. But yeah, I'm not sure 100%. I will have to get back to you on that, and then maybe tweet it out or something like that if there are any American listeners, or indeed Australian, Canadian, African, whatever, whoever we go out to.
You're going to keep all that info up on your Facebook page, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can go to our website abhpod.com as well, and there is a link there.
There is.
You click on the 3 Peaks logo. And that'll take you straight to the donate page.
Question for you guys: when are you guys coming out this way? When are you going to take a vacation to America?
I'm saving up for a
When
wedding.
do you come into the colonies?
They call it a holiday, Michael.
Oh, a holiday.
Yeah,
yes,
it's
a holiday in the
holiday.
colonies.
Well, this is the thing. It's putting the money together, unfortunately, not unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm getting married, so
so that'll take up a bit of money, I'm sure.
Honeymoon in America.
Congratulations.
Maybe we can get your honeymoon over there.
Yeah,
We can all go
I'm sure the wife would love that. Sorry, darling, going off to shoot with the boys.
No. You can go to Florida. You can see the Grand Canyon. We've got so much shit here. So much stuff to do.
It's true. The Grand Canyon is awe-inspiring.
I've never seen it, but apparently it is. I've seen pictures of it.
If you like really big holes in the ground, it's awesome.
That's right. Yeah.
Personally, I prefer to look up, but that's cool.
Oh, speaking of which, the word awesome shouldn't be used as much as it is. I apologise for that. Because I know that one of you guys was saying about the word awesome. But
isn't everything very big?
Hold on. I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah, no.
I think one of you was saying something about the word awesome being used when things are just either clever or brilliant.
Oh, Stan was talking about. No, he was actually saying clever or brilliant being used.
Oh, that was in one of the
email threads.
The emails that we had before we met up. I was saying that I love the way the British use the word clever because I think clever is a neat word, but
it's an awesome word.
It's brilliant.
I just think awesome is overused and should be used for stuff
things
like
that actually
genuinely awesome.
Yes,
It's like Kevin Smith saying whatnot all the time.
Yeah. It's just
a drinking game around it.
Yeah, so I like the word clever, but I hear brilliant so many times out of people describing everything. I'm like, is everything that shiny or smart?
It's because of the Guinness commercials that went over for God knows how many years.
I think it was far.
Yeah, but I mean, in America, you saw as soon as people saw those Guinness commercials, brilliant, 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 and it just started happening over and over and over again.
Yeah,
right.
And it's the proliferation of the internet and stuff, and people kind of picking up on singular kind of words to describe everything. It's just it's the dumbing down of our
English
rich
language.
English language.
It's shiny. That's my new word. Shiny.
We're really sorry about that.
Oh no, it's not just you guys. I mean,
come on,
It's not just us.
I tell you what,
There's other idiots out there too.
I mean, come on.
It's the Australians as well with their raised inflection at the end of everything.
That's what Stan just said. Yeah, everything's a question.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, and actually, that's another thing because you guys take the O's out of words like colour and stuff.
You mean the U?
I think
the U.
Oh no, it is the U, isn't it?
Yeah.
You take letters out of words. I think the Australians use them in their place names. All those ones that you discard, they're going.
Wait. So we have to pronounce the E in coupe, but we don't pronounce color?
No, we say color.
No.
Yeah, but like we said, coupe is a French word.
It's a French word.
The problem is the Brits are pronouncing it properly. It's spelled C-O-U-P-E with an accent on the E, so they pronounce it coupe. It's us dumb Americans that go, oh, that says coupe.
No, in our language, we
where you keep your chickens.
Exactly. The thing is, we take the accent off because we're cheaters.
Yeah. So it's a different word now. It's American English.
We don't have a way to put the accent on.
Then we take the E off altogether, and you're taking over a country.
Exactly.
There's that European pacing for you.
Yes. We got to speed things up.
Coup d'etat. There you go, right? Instead of coup.
I think we're roughly at the end of our time now, so we'll leave it at that point. It was great having you guys on, and thank you for having us on your show as well. Hopefully the people who've got to the end of this episode have listened to the Nerd Church one. I did tell you at the beginning of the show to go and download the Nerd Church and go and subscribe as well, because their show is infinitely exciting and
brilliant.
It just makes you you guys are so kind of
are we clever?
Enthusiastic about these things that it makes you want to go out and find these things and play these games and read these books and stuff.
It costs you a lot of money listening to the Nerd Church.
We like to celebrate the passion of being a geek. It's that simple. And we thank you very much for
that's
enjoying
what it's about.
Well, thank you very much, fellas.
Yeah, thanks for having us on, and we're glad you guys made it on ours, and I can't wait to do this again.
And I'm telling you,
we've got to do it again.
We're going to have. Well, I think there's so much that we can talk about that we'll probably have to do a few more.
That's what we were saying in between shows. We could do this for hours and have zero topics planned out. We could just talk.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know you got a honeymoon, but Tom, get your ass over here to America. We'll take you out, go drinking, some shooting. Take you to the monuments.
Simultaneously.
Yes, drinking and shooting.
All at the same time. I want to go to Barcadia with you guys.
Yes, Barcade.
Yeah. We would do a
pilgrimage.
Yes, a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
You meet our friend Slogan.
I like it. But yeah, no, so thank you for coming on. Thank you for being wonderful guests and having us not have to do anything, making us not have to do a hell of a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
This is why we enjoy having guests on. So, so for Anywhere But Here this week, I've been Tom.
I've been Ant.
And you guys have been.
Hold on. I was running through there. I was mimicking you guys. I was doing the goodbye. They couldn't see it. Okay, so you guys have been you guys. I've been Sean.
I've been Michael.
RJ.
It's Daniel.
Miles.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Goodbye.